Hey everybody, it's What Drives Us, episode 174 for February 17th. That's me looking at the date. February 17th, 2016. My name is Russell Frost from the Prius Owners Group. I am still one of the hosts of this show, and my co-host Danny Cooper is golfing tonight.
Which makes you the only host tonight.
I'm pretty sure at this point you've just inherited the show.
Well, now let's not talk ill of Danny. He's, he got a woman pregnant, and he's,
I mean, that's true. He's owning up to his responsibilities.
No wonder he's golfing.
Yes. He's owning up to his parental responsibilities, and we respect him.
That's good.
So where does one go night golfing at mini golf?
I just like saying he's golfing. I don't know why. I don't know why, but yeah, have you ever seen? They actually have glow-in-the-dark golfing balls.
Yeah, I actually think Danny's balls glow in the dark.
Ooh. Not touching it.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's just introduce the panel and move on from that one. Let's just not mess with that one. You know who I am? The guy next to me on my screen, although he may not be next to me on your screen, is our man from Canada, or from that part of Canada. His name is Mark Coughlin. Hey, Mark.
Welcome from the Great White North. Let's get this show on the road.
Yeah, is it like 700 below zero today?
No, just 600. We're good.
I noticed where.
But that's Celsius, so.
Yeah.
Something in Kelvin.
I was just going to say, like, Kelvin. Does that mean like all molecular motion?
Like 273.
I know it's been really cold in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So
we're getting some of that, and it's bounced back nicely. So we're quite happy we've come out of the deep freeze.
Oh, good, excellent. Well, speaking of the deep freeze, our man in the Windy City, Mr. Tony Schaefer.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Looking forward to the show, and I have the last Goose Island Winter Ale because this Friday it is supposed to be up to 58 degrees Fahrenheit here in Chicago. I had to throw in the Fahrenheit because Kelvin's a little too cold and centigrade's a little too hot.
So winter's no longer coming, but Game of Thrones new season sure is.
Yes. Yes.
And House of Cards.
Oh, yeah?
Thank you very much.
I don't know. Where can he go now? He's president already. Isn't the show over?
There must be some more people he can kill.
Spoiler alert, he becomes president.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
It was 4 months ago. If you haven't seen it by now, it's not my fault.
Yeah. Catch up. 4 months. It was It was a season ago.
Hey, you know what? Kevin Spacey would make a good real president compared to everybody who's running.
He's better than most of what we have. You're right. Reagan did it.
You know what? I'm going to avoid the political thing and introduce.
I'm going to write him in. That's it. I'm writing in Kevin Spacey.
That's it. The man writing in Kevin Spacey for president is our man in Portland, Oregon. His name is Patrick Connor.
Hello from Oregon, where we have a new store opening up called Vegans with a Z, and they're a German super market chain, and they're coming to the U.S. and they want to start in Portland because we're crunchy like that.
Cool.
Is crunchy a good thing?
For some people, yes.
Okay.
It's an acquired taste.
It's an acquired taste. Anyways. I've had dinner with Tony, so I understand.
Yeah.
Ich bin ein Vegetarian.
There you go. And now that we've spoken German, I can finally move over to our man from Coors Country. He is our man in Boulder, Colorado. His name is Paul Guzik.
Hey, glad to be back, and not drinking Coors. I'm drinking, can you see this? Townie Ale. And I just bought it because it has what kind of looks like a Volkswagen van on the label.
I was going to say it has a Vanagon on it. Yeah.
Speaking of crunchy.
Vanagon with a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
Customized Vanagon.
And I don't want to rub it in to all you Easterners, but it was about 65 here today and sunny, and it will be about 70 tomorrow and sunny. So,
can I just... I'm really at the point.
American.
I'm really at the point where I don't have to take crap from anybody. Okay, right now,
Wow.
right now it's dark. It's night. Thank
Mhm.
you. It was 75 today and sunny.
Yeah, but you have to put up with Florida.
Yeah.
Right.
That's too big a price to pay.
People.
It's been a great show, folks. Thanks for tuning in. On that note, I'm going to go kill myself. Thank you. But no, I'm not going to kill myself. What I am going to do, though, is talk about something that makes me really sad and really angry, and I just want to tear it up. So,
Speaking of how sunny it is in places.
Speaking of how sunny it is in places,
Well.
you would think a state like Nevada,
Mm-hmm.
which really, other than kitty litter, gambling, and sun, right?
Prostitution. Yeah.
What is the kitty litter reference? That's totally no, forget it. I don't want to know. That's just a great mystery for our listeners.
Absolutely. It's a stinking desert.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
A big litter box.
Sand. Yeah. There you go.
They do have a big factory there.
They used to have a rocket fuel factory there, but that blowed up real good. Yeah, there's the Faraday,
the future
empty lot.
Future. Yeah.
The Faraday
Tesla.
lot.
Future roller rink, you mean?
Yeah.
Not an ice skating rink. We know that much.
It's called the Faraday Future Light Industrial Park, and it'll be one of those things with a road that goes to like just dirt and tumbleweeds.
You mean Area 51?
There you go.
See there.
So back to the topic. You would think solar in a state like Nevada that's hot, that uses a lot of electricity, right? That solar would be a really big deal. I mean, it's a no-brainer. There's just, I mean, it's nothing but sun.
Wait. I think that's the point. It's too good for solar.
Oh.
That explains
too efficient.
everything.
Yes.
Well, the very enlightened, and I use that word very sarcastically, the very enlightened Nevada legislature last year passed a new law changing the way solar is done in Nevada. Basically, they did a couple of things. They added a tariff which will triple the rate, and triple the monthly fees. I'm sorry, that solar users pay to use the electric grid. Okay, so if you're a solar user and you're connected to the grid, you will triple your power rate. It also cuts by 75% the reimbursement for solar feeding electricity back into the grid.
Wow.
In other words, they basically went to anyone who wanted to put solar on their house and they kicked them in the teeth. And they said, yeah, go ahead. That's great. Go ahead. Put solar on your roof. Oh, wait, do we kick you in the teeth? Let's kick you in the teeth again.
Yeah. It's absolutely unfathomable. And I do remember when I had it. What was
Solyndra?
Don't say Solyndra.
Don't say Solyndra.
Well, but here's the thing. Here's
Solar
something
City.
that I learned, that people were all up in the air about Solyndra went out of business and Solyndra this. I did a little digging and I asked around and I looked around and I found out that a lot of the people from Solyndra went to Germany. Do you know why they went to Germany?
Because
the solar everywhere.
Because there's solar everywhere and because they don't do stupid shit like this.
Well,
That's why we are losing solar companies in the United States. They're moving to more consistent and solar-friendly countries. You get shit like this where, every 2 years they hire, or not hire, well, you do hire, you elect morons who can just, on a whim, make a total 180 swing of the rules that people bought in on this solar, and now, like Russell said, they're getting kicked in the teeth. It's no business.
Germany's had their challenges too. They've had their challenges. Has been attacked. I mean, they go through the same sort of political swings left and right, and have some parties that agree with it and some that fight it. Absolutely.
But this is just unconscionable.
Well, what I thought was really strange was the retroactive amount. That's the best part. So people that actually signed a contract and knew that they had a certain rate up to a certain amount of time, the contract's been broken. So now, if you had a 20-year term, It doesn't matter. The rates go as they are today, and your contract is broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's be clear where this comes from. This isn't responding to any sort of legitimate issue about wear and tear on the grid or about funding the grid or about anything else. This simply comes from
Big utility.
Big utility through ALEC, through the American Legislative Exchange Council that writes draft bills for state legislatures all around the country, wrote this bill simply to discourage solar. And again, discourage solar in Nevada.
Right.
Yeah.
There was the part in here that had said that there are all of these studies done that shows that the distributed grid, that having multiple small pieces tied into the grid and feeding is actually better for the overall infrastructure.
Right,
And
much more reliable.
It's much more reliable and actually saves the utility money because they don't need the peaker plants and all of those things. And then you just have what I can only call just cronyism that just does this for sheer spite in their own profit. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely. And the net metering laws that they're trying to put in there, where you don't get credit for kilowatt hours that you feed the grid and then they sell to your neighbors. They don't want to pay you a dime for that. So how is it that I'm going to give them 3 kilowatt hours, and then a few hours later when it's dark, I'm going to download the same 3 kilowatt hours, but they expect me to give my 3 to them for free when they need them most during peak, and then they expect me to not get anything for that, and then pay for 3 that I download later, when they have surplus. It's ridiculous.
Yes, it's ridiculous.
Well, let's all never move to Nevada.
Well, it's worse than just moving to Nevada because it's now precedent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are bills like that in other legislatures, similar, if not identical, all over the country. I think Florida is considering one right now.
Isn't Florida, it's against the law to have a property not connected to the grid?
Yes.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was Tom Stengel who originally brought that to our attention.
Which is interesting because half of Florida still doesn't have electricity.
Or it does, and then a hurricane hits and they lose it.
They haven't run the wires to the trailer park yet, Russell?
Yeah, I got nothing there. I got absolutely nothing.
That's ironic when it's one of the least reliable grids that we have that is required to be connected to it.
Right. It's absolutely unreliable, and that's one of the things, having lived here before, it's horrible. The power outages are very regular. And it's not a surprise. This is a stormy place. There's lots of lots of wear and tear in that system. Look, this is what's interesting to me is that this is being pushed by Republicans. It's a conservative issue, supposedly. This stomping solar out, but there's nothing really very conservative about it. I mean, when you think about it, the voters, the citizens, the conservative voters should love solar. It means independence from the grid. It means some measure of independence from the grid, if not complete independence. It's putting something that was previously either in a state-owned utility or a municipal utility or a corporation in your hands, in your complete control. It's very odd.
And while the solar panels may be made overseas, all the installation and consulting and engineering jobs have to be done domestically. Right. So it creates work.
And unfortunately, if we had perhaps a more enlightened federal government, by that I mean a less conservative Congress, we would probably be making more of those solar products here too.
Hey, largest solar panel plant in North America, right here in my backyard in Hillsboro, Oregon. It's a German company, but they make them here in the U.S.
Wait, you mean
Solar World? They have a huge factory in Hillsboro, Oregon.
Huh.
That's great.
And they have a free CHAdeMO charging station in their driveway, in their parking lot, too. I've used it a couple times.
How generous of them.
Right.
With solar powered.
And it's literally in your backyard?
Yeah, I'm not too far from there.
Oh, okay. I just like the idea of this big factory being in your backyard.
If it was in your backyard, you could run a big cord out.
Exactly. I mean,
Not quite that literal.
you guys don't mind if I tap into this for a minute?
Uh-huh.
It's free. They don't. No.
I'm not. I don't really know what else there is to say. I mean, other than, and I appreciate everything that you guys have said here, because honestly, I'm almost speechless with something like this. It seems so regressive and so stupid, and it just sends us back 40 years into the past that we don't need to be in.
Yeah, I've talked about it on the show here before. I have solar panels. I bought some in 2007. I bought more in 2015. It makes 3 or 4 times what I use for my electric car, so I'm a big solar supporter. And yet, I don't blame the company for trying this. They're trying to maximize their profits. That's what businesses are supposed to do. Of course, you should also have public interest in mind and other things that stop them from being able to pass stupid laws like this. And yet, I still don't blame them for trying.
But why don't the utilities form a subsidiary like Solar City or whatever and go out and start selling solar and marketing, and they'll make money that way, you know?
Yeah, they could. Right.
Yeah.
That's disruption. I like to do things the way I've always done them, Paul.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
Paul has a really good point, which is there's one way to compete, which is by bribing state legislators and
Right.
writing bad legislation, and there's another way, which is, okay, the market's shifting, you shift with it,
Yep.
rather than try to legislate your business model. I mean, we've seen the same thing with the franchise auto dealers, clinging with a death grip on to the laws that protect their business models. And honestly, there's not that many people that don't work at a car dealership that think car dealers are great.
It is very difficult for big companies to turn the boat another direction.
Right,
It's a
yeah.
big boat.
It is. But then again, is it? I mean, sometimes I wonder, like, if that's just a good excuse. If it's not easier just to do the bribery and legislation thing instead of change.
I wonder if it's just more cost effective.
Yeah.
If that's all it is.
It might be.
Just look at dollars and cents and say, you know what, it's cheaper to do
Yeah.
the legislation.
Have you guys had any of that in Canada, Mark?
No, but I do have a utility where I live that is not very solar friendly, although there's no rules against it. But I often wonder, why don't they get involved themselves? Like, there are solar companies around. They are putting them on houses. Why wouldn't the local utility join the movement? Like, they would certainly have the power to do so, and they would be quite successful.
Right.
They have not made moves to do that.
And I don't know that there's any place in Canada that's as well suited to solar as Nevada, but,
Well, yeah, certainly. There's certainly actually solar even in central Canada here is quite cost effective. So
Is it?
You could
get
probably you could put up entire solar farms if you just clear cut a bunch of those trees. I mean, you got a lot of land right there. It's just going to waste.
Maybe you could whittle the trees into solar panels.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, after they clear cut for all the shale oil, then they can put solar panels on top of that. They've already moved the trees out.
Well,
Or
they
make
kinda-
it
Or you can angle them down from the wall they're building between Canada.
Yeah, they've got to strip mine the nickel out for batteries now.
Yeah.
You left out a step.
Okay. So yeah, solar panels
I think
do
it's
a lot
nickel,
better.
or is it heavy metal, or rare earths? I forget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, nickel, rare earths.
Well, I mean, look how much solar is in Germany, and they have a dark, dreary, depressing climate, like much of
Right.
of
Yeah, they
Canada.
do.
I can't wait for the German emails. How can you say that about our climate?
It's not the
Lucky you-
sunniest place on
Lucky you
earth.
will not be able to understand them.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one's going to email me from Germany. I guarantee it.
Solar
If you do,
panels like it cool and sunny, not hot and sunny.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, their output's much better if they're kept cool and nice. So Canada, I'm sure, can do pretty good. Not great, but not going to be horrible either.
Yeah, the bit of trivia I learned when I bought some solar panels is in Colorado, the most productive month is not July and August when it's the most daylight hours. It's actually March because it's sunny and clear and cool still.
Right. Yep. Spring and fall. I
Yeah.
totally agree.
wow, I didn't know that.
Because when they get too hot, they don't produce as much.
Oh, the heat
Yeah.
actually
Yep.
slows
Yeah.
down.
Voltage drops. Yep.
There was a advancement, if that's what you want to call it, or a new technology or something that they put solar panels on. I want to say it was like a
Liquid
column
cooling.
that
Yeah.
that rotated. No,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
a thing that rotated so that no part of the panel was in the sun for an extended period of time. And they said just by doing that, it increased efficiency.
They could also put like liquid tubes underneath to dissipate the heat, like liquid cooling, but in reverse, and then use that to heat your hot water in your house.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep,
There you
I
go.
have
Or-
some systems like that. Yep.
Use it to even heat the house, depending on how
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
hot water's run.
Yeah.
You know. Okay. Well, let's just like a general sort of to the Nevada legislature.
Have you guys seen the stories about this that have Warren Buffett and Elon Musk? Because Warren Buffett, the utility is owned by a Warren Buffett company,
energy,
then
yeah.
and then Solar City is of course Elon Musk company. They have an animated GIF of those two with their faces on wrestler bodies fighting each other, and billionaires battle, and people are stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
It's a funny graphic.
Yeah.
As sad as it is.
I just don't want to
So-
think about Elon wrestling Warren Buffett.
Yeah. So this does make me have to ask the question: where's Tesla building their Gigafactory?
Oh.
And what's covering like 95% of their roof?
Yeah, but they're using it themselves.
Yeah.
Are they not on the grid?
Probably not after this.
And I'm sure that was just the law was probably targeting residential, not businesses. They make different rules for them.
Oh, right. That's because it's business friendly.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's got to be hundreds of utilities across the country. I don't know of any of them that are selling residential solar as part of their package. And they could put a smart meter on there and charge you for that, just like every other kilowatt hour they deliver to you. It seems like a great idea.
Yeah.
Instead, they're letting Sunrun and Solar City and other companies come
Right.
in and invade their space. They should get smart. Step it up.
Well,
Not going to happen.
oddly enough, this is one of those problems that private enterprise isn't so much solving.
Well,
Maybe
they are
it
with
is, I
with
guess.
upstart companies instead of the old
Yeah.
utilities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The existing companies are using law to shut down the upstarts.
Yep. Instead of buying them out, like
Yeah.
every other tech company does.
There you
Oh,
go.
Instagram's getting users. Buy them. How many billions? Whatever.
Yeah. We'll own their users. Who cares?
Yep.
Very
Well,
nice.
I'm hoping that happens in Boulder. The local voters here voted to kick out Xcel, which is the incumbent,
Oh.
corporate utility and former municipal utility. And of course, in Boulder, there's a lot of people that are into solar power and clean energy. So maybe this will be a.
They were
Wait,
doing
you
some
say-
nasty
Sorry?
stuff, weren't they?
Yeah, very.
No,
Excel's-
they're evil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he a
Excel's a
municipal?
really evil company.
A municipal utility company? That sounds like socialism.
Yeah, yeah. Ask Los Angeles about that sometimes.
No.
It works really horribly for them. Just a little town.
I
Yeah.
want to give a
And,
shout out here.
Palo Alto. And,
Mhm.
Yeah. There are some things that work well in the private sphere and some things that don't.
Yeah.
Hate to say that, but now I'm getting
Yeah.
really political. Instead of getting political,
I'm
I'm
gonna
going to turn.
do my before we leave this topic.
Yeah.
One more. I want to give a shout out to CUB. It's the Citizens Utility Board,
Mm.
and they are a public oversight committee for the utilities. And so, if the utilities want to change their rates or enact some law or whatever, CUB is there representing the people of Oregon, and they do a great job of making sure the utilities don't become evil. So, shout out to CUB.
Yay, Cub.
Cool. Do they have a website or anything?
Yes, they do, and I will look it up and let you know here.
Yeah, we have a. I don't know if it's Cub, but
It's
yeah, we have
OregonCub.org.
There you go.
we have a
OregonCub.org.
utilities
So check them out.
like that.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Tony?
Yeah, we have and I forget what it's called now. I have to look for it, but we have essentially the same thing here around Chicago, and quite often I'll see commercials about put out by them saying, are you paying too much for this utility? Go to our website to find out what you're paying compared to other people, because it turns out that some of the utilities were manipulating on a per person basis But since
Oh,
people
wow.
don't sit around with their bills,
Right.
in their backyard comparing rates, nobody knew. So
And the bills are so complicated. There's
I
20
know.
or 30 adjustments to all of them.
Well,
Yeah.
and if they can raise rates secretly on or quietly on 30% of their customers, then woohoo,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, having a strong agency like Cub. Too bad Nevada didn't have one. That would have stopped all of this.
Yeah.
You'd think, yeah.
Well, actually, probably not Nevada. Nevada legislature is kind of wacky. It's a little, but I mean, keep in mind there were 5 people from the Nevada legislature up in your neck of the woods, Patrick, at the.
I don't know what you're talking about. No wing nuts here. None at all.
Yeah. There's no crazies there.
Yeah, they've all been rounded up and arrested by now.
Thank you.
Right, well, yeah. I was
Never
just talking
happened.
a couple weeks ago how I don't. We need to stop people from moving to Oregon, and mission accomplished.
There you go. Burns is a lovely place. Don't listen to what anybody says, and don't move there because Oregon doesn't want you.
Yep, it's true.
That's the truth. Well, let's go to Mark for the next news item and see what he has in store for us.
Well, I luckily was able to attend the Canadian International Auto Show this past Thursday in Toronto, downtown, and was able to peruse through the 17 EVs that were on display, which was kind of nice to see all in one spot. And I brought a few photos I can share with the group.
Oh,
Just a
you have
couple
photos?
hundred.
Uh-huh.
We'll keep it light. So the first one I'm going to show is the new Ontario Provincial Police cruiser that's coming out on the roads. And you can see it's a new model.
Yeah.
They just got this baby on the road. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, nice
Yeah.
car.
What?
Yeah.
Can I just tell you how much I love that though?
Guys, don't laugh at the Canadians. They think this is modern.
Oh.
It's their Tesla chaser.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Where are
Well-
the white walls?
Just white rims on this one.
No, it's undercover.
That's right. It's undercover.
Yeah, only one light on top.
You know what? Here's the funny thing. I always said, as a kid, whatever. I always said if I started a car company, I would love to take old car molds and make them like super light and modern or whatever, but just so that from a distance they look super old. I love that old look.
PT Cruiser's your fault? What?
God.
That's cold.
Mhm.
That is so cold.
And going from one extreme to the other, Tesla made their debut of the Model X at the first auto show in Toronto. So here I am
Awesome.
sitting behind the driver's seat with the Tesla X.
Very cool. They don't. They're not big on auto shows, so congrats for getting them to show up at yours.
So they had
Yeah.
a couple of Model S's and an X, and they were very inviting to the group to come in and sit down and play with the Falcon wing doors and get our fingerprints all over the car. So and it was interesting. I don't know if the S has it, but you can see there's suede on the dash of the X,
Yeah.
which was kind of different. And then of course you can see there's carbon look to
Fiber,
the
yeah,
dash.
nice.
But it was an impressive car. Had a great time playing with the Falcon wing doors and seeing how they would operate and how they wouldn't hit you if you were standing in the way, and it all worked like clockwork.
Yeah, don't talk bad about it. They'll kick you right off that reservation list.
Yeah.
See, I'm walking a fine line here, Patrick. I'm staying in the middle.
Exactly.
Good job. Good job.
So that was interesting. Of course, one of my favorite cars, the Volt, was there in the beautiful blue color. So that was nice to see. And a couple others. There's the Spark EV, which is one of the one that's probably going to be replaced by the Volt.
Right.
So this will probably be one that will be going out at some point, although we haven't heard anything official. And just a shot under the hood of it, you can notice this nice plastic hood that they've put on it to make it look attractive. It's kind of nice that they kind of dress up the engine compartment for the car.
So just put a plastic V8 in there.
It is hard to tell that it's electric, though.
With one of those noisemakers, that goes rum, 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 rum.
Yep, exactly. So one of the things different than the Volt that I have is that they place the 12-volt battery under the hood of this car. So and later we found out that the Bolt is a similar architecture to the Spark, so it's kind of similarly built in the engine compartment area.
So where's yours at then?
Mine is in the trunk and the hatchback area underneath the floorboards.
Interesting.
That's where they keep our batteries.
But there is a jumper terminal under the hood of the Volt.
There is, correct. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Is it just? I guess it's just a room thing.
It must be. It must be something about a room.
Thing, yeah.
Yeah, because of course they're jamming two things in the Volt up front: electric motor as well as a gasoline motor. So probably it's a room thing. And here is an interesting one. This wasn't electric. This is a Toyota U2. This is a concept vehicle that was it was very interesting. I thought it was kind of neat. They didn't really go into details if it was fuel cell or electric. It's concept. It probably could do either or.
It's hollow.
And I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
But a big.
Yeah.
And it's got a big cargo area with this fold-down door, which is kind of interesting. That becomes a ramp that you can just drive in, I guess.
Or you can do skateboard tricks on it.
That's right.
Right.
Portable skateboard tricks. Yeah.
Okay, so Mark, a few weeks ago, I was really, really hard on Faraday Future, for designing a car and bringing it to a show when there was no way, no how, they were never going to make it. It didn't even make any sense. There was no way for the driver to get in it. And then Toyota shows up with this, and I'm thinking, what, did the designers just have like an extra $50,000 in the budget? Like, we're going to make the mock-up. I don't.
This had to cost more than that.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, $500,000. Who knows
yeah.
what? I just but I wonder what the purpose is for something like this.
It's got to be for some sort of research for future vehicles. It has to be. They got to use some of this technology in other vehicles, and these are just showcases that they start with. That would be my guess.
I think it's different for a company like Toyota that has cars on the road, and then you want to, draw attention with a whole bunch of innovative ideas, and you pack all of your crazy ideas into some vehicle like this, and some of them might actually make it to market. Others are just like, oh, we thought of that, we tried it, and it's never going to see the light of day. But when you have a company like Faraday Future, and they're trying to say, hey, we're a real company, we're trying to make a product, it's a whole different bar for concepts for them.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely correct, Patrick. I can't argue with that. Oh. What the heck is that?
Hey, I saw some bank robbers in one of those.
Did you ever catch those guys?
Well, they stopped at the Toronto Auto Show and went and got us some food or something, so they left it here.
Yeah.
But it wasn't running when I got here. But it was a nice looking car. I was able to get in it, and as you can see, it's great to come here on the Thursday because there is nobody around. We just got the place to ourselves. We're able to wander around up to any car we wanted, really.
Did you use your What Drives Us press pass to get in early?
Of course.
Yes.
And so that was interesting to see the car and get in it and pop the trunk, and we went through it. It was very nice. It's a nicely sized car. And Tony, this is the model that you had for a while. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Sort of.
Not the exact. I had a 2, and this looks like it has a sunroof. So this is what, either a 3 or a 4. 4.
No. They're all 4s. So is it a 4.2?
Paul, you're just trying to raise trouble.
Yeah, trying real hard.
Oh, the BMW i8.
The car that Danny wanted. Next, the car that Danny got.
They can both walk on walls. That's pretty handy. No kidding.
I'm so jealous. I can't even, I wish I had that car. What did you think, Mark, of the i3?
The i3 is it's interesting. It's kind of it's a little higher than my Volt. You ride a little higher, I believe, and it's got different visibility in it compared to my Volt, which is what I compare everything to. But I liked it. It was nice. I don't know if the kind of suicide doors would make sense, or I would like after a while, because they kind of fold out the other way. But the back doors are, kind of half doors that fold into the front doors.
What are those actually?
Not a
radio?
paddle shift.
I'm sorry, Paul. Go ahead.
I was going to say that's not a paddle shifter.
It actually does look like a paddle shifter.
It's a paddle shifter.
No, on an EV, like for what kind of gears?
I have a paddle shifter on my CVT Corolla. Yeah. No, seriously.
Maybe it's cruise control.
I don't know.
Who knows?
It might be a paddle shifter. It is a BMW, and after all, I mean, I can't even go there. I don't need to alienate another group of what drives us listeners or viewers.
Go for it.
Yeah. No.
Get hurt.
Only the Germans are getting alienated.
Yeah.
Speaking of Germans, here comes a BMW X5e with the plug out front. Very, very small. Like this is not a large battery vehicle. It's certainly more of a gas vehicle that's got some battery assist. So they're starting to work on this kind of stuff. I hope that they get stronger, larger batteries in these vehicles as time goes along, because certainly the more battery, I believe, is the better.
Yep, I totally agree.
Does it have more than 11 miles of range?
I think it was in the area, Paul, of about 22 or 20, I believe. There's a lot of numbers floating around in my head, so I could be off.
Right.
So the Porsche hybrid is here as well, the Cayenne, very nice. Again, another one with low mileage on the battery, but they have the battery assist, so it's starting. And just I have a shot of the details. Nice MSRP here in Canadian dollars, $105,905.
Wow, that's cheap.
Yeah, it's just they're giving them away. It was terrible.
Yeah. How do they make any money on that?
There was it was like a Costco. There was pallets of them. They were just.
Yeah, nice.
Shrink wrapped to each other. You had to buy a 3-pack though.
Yeah.
They were in 3-packs.
Who needs 3 Cayennes?
I'm not breaking a pallet for you.
Usually you go with 2 buddies and you split them.
The Soul EV, nice vehicle, good electric range, all electric vehicle here, and very roomy. Tall ceiling in it. You sit up high in the car, and an adequate space to put items in the back before you fold down the back seats. So nice vehicle, this Kia.
And all your giant hamster friends.
Of course, the hamsters.
Right.
Yeah, we had to clean out the shavings out of the car to start with, but after you got by that.
But the cedar smells so nice.
Yeah. Kind of hard to argue with that.
Another Canadian price, model shown $37,000. So
Much cheaper than a Cayenne.
Just for the, I mean, do you guys have any sort of like regular incentives on EVs in Canada?
actually, in Ontario, Quebec, and British Columbia, there are incentives. And just last week, Ontario increased its percentage to a maximum of $14,000.
Wow.
So that just happened. It used to be $8,500 was the maximum. Now the maximum is $14,000. So it's a plus for us, and it's getting people to think about it a little bit more seriously now.
So I mean, just do you have any idea like what if you were to buy a Soul EV, this one here is priced at $37,000. Do you have any idea what it would be, what kind of credit you would get on it?
Yes, the credit would be, in this case, the maximum of $14,000 because it seats 5, and the battery is over 20 kilowatts.
Oh.
And it's below the price of $75,000 because once you get over the $75,000, the rebate goes way down.
Good, it should, and that $23,000 for that car is pretty. That's a sweet deal.
Decent.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's 23 Canadian, so that's like 12,000
It's
American.
like a buck and a half.
Wow.
Guzik made that joke. Guzik made that joke.
And then there was, of course, the Ford items. There was the Fusion here, which is a full size, very nice. Again, not the greatest amount of EV travel mileage on these, but still a mid-sized car that has a full front and back seat, and the trunk is obviously chopped up a little bit for the battery, but a nice sized vehicle for sure. And of course, two other Ford.
Whatever.
and the Fusion and the C-Max Energy was here as well.
I'm sorry, that's a Focus, isn't it?
There's a Focus and a C-Max Energy.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
This is the C-Max, I
At
believe.
least right, the C-Max exists. The Focus is like a unicorn.
Yeah, there's the unicorn right there.
Yeah.
So.
They
that's
have
another.
the dealerships around here.
Yeah.
They have them.
Just love the look of this car. This Ford, beautiful looking car. Amazing aerodynamics on it. Obviously no EV here, but nice car regardless.
Wow.
The Cadillac CT6 was here, not the EV version, but of course there will be an EV version built that will give kind of a Voltec type powertrain. So it's going to be, I understand, built in China and shipped to the United States. That was a surprise that had come up recently. So the EV version will be built in China as opposed to Hamtramck, where most people thought it would be built. And the Volt again. And then, of course, the Bolt was debuted for Canada, and they brought it out with the president of GM Canada, made a presentation about the car, and then he allowed everyone to get up and close and personal with the vehicle. And I was able to sit in the car and take a look at the different instrument panels and the build quality on the inside. Very nice. It's not a Tesla, obviously. It is something that is an everyman's type vehicle, but it was nicely equipped. It was comfortable on the inside. It was large enough. I would give it a size comparison to maybe a little bit smaller than a Leaf, but it's pretty good for this first go around for GM for a 200-mile vehicle, I believe.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I think that you have pictures from the inside, because at the Chicago Auto Show, it was a pre-production prototype, and you weren't allowed to get inside. Now the funny part is, we didn't know you were not allowed to get inside. So when one of the representatives came around and said, "You're not allowed to be in there," it was me, somebody else, and like two or three Italians who just like scattered like cats.
Those Italians will do that.
It was hilarious. I mean, this guy, and it was funny because they were just chatting back and forth in Italian, and two of the guys had cameras, and one other guy was just looking, but they were just pictures of just everything, just all over, under it, over it, all around the inside. I'm pretty sure they were reverse engineering it.
Yeah. They work for Fiat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
A similar story, Tony, that one of the Voltec members was with me from our group, and he looked at me at this point. Most of the reporters had kind of moved on to the next junket, like they were going in off to the next manufacturer, and we were just kind of standing there by ourselves with the car with a few people mingling around from GM, and he said to me, "Do you think they'd mind if we popped the hood?" I kind of took a step back, and he went right in, popped the hood, and bingo, we had a view of the underside. And as soon as the hood popped, these three photographers came out of nowhere and set their cameras into the engine compartment and flash, 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 and they were gone.
Oh yeah.
Before someone could take their memory cards, yeah.
Yeah. We did the same thing. We popped the hood, and it took us a while to figure out, but yeah, we had the hood propped open and everything, and then like, oops.
Interesting side note as well.
Yeah.
And a hydrogen vehicle here from Hyundai, another unicorn, as some would say.
Is that what the H on the front is for? Is that for hydrogen?
Hydrogen Hyundai, yes.
I was going to say, you spell unicorn funny.
The Sonata electric vehicle, kind of a Volt type car, again with not quite as much mileage, but it's a medium-sized car, so it's bigger than a Volt, and it gets a fair amount of mileage. We're talking about somewhere in the area of 22, 25 miles. So it's something that's inching its way up. Maybe they will progress with that.
Sure.
But again, a nice size car.
Okay.
And you can see model price $45,900. Nice. So it was pricey.
Okay. Wow.
And one, I'll skip back to the front. There's just one other thing I wanted to show as we zip through this. I know I've taken up a lot of time here. Just
and there was no Mitsubishi.
Oh God, how embarrassing.
There was an IMEV, yes. An IMEV was there.
But no Outlander plug-in.
No Outlander, no.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So there I am behind the
North America.
I-8. Yeah. I thought I'd get that shot in there. I actually was able to get in. Getting in is not the problem.
Right.
Getting out is the problem.
Yeah.
When your butt's nearly on the ground, that's hard.
Oh, that's the I-8.
That's an I-8, yes.
Yeah. I think you're just supposed to roll on the dirt. Just kind of like dive.
Yeah.
Because, you've got the I-8, so really, who cares how dumb you look getting out of it?
Exactly.
Just don't get out.
Nobody's looking at you.
Yeah.
No one's looking at you roll out. So
they're just looking at the car. Yeah.
And there's the Tesla booth with the Falcon Wing door in operation. So
nice.
That's the American-made Falcon Wing door, not the defective German-made one.
Correct. Yeah.
That's 3 times we've bashed the Germans.
It sounds like we really want the Germans to write us in. Russell's going to prevent that somehow.
All of a sudden, this is like the RNC convention.
At the end of the show, I believe. We'll see how he gets out of that.
All I'm doing is bashing old Europe tonight. I don't know why. It's so not me. I mean, Italians, Germans. Okay, you know what? Mark, that's awesome. Thank you very much for going and for coming back with all that info.
You're quite welcome.
Great.
Yeah.
And in comparison, let's talk to Tony Schaefer.
It's not much of a comparison. I mean, it's of course the same manufacturers and they have the same cars.
Right.
But they're American dollars and in miles instead of kilometers.
Yeah.
Right. So
how's this, Tony? I'll make it easy. Cover the stuff that Mark didn't cover.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, there was a lot of stuff, a lot of the same, but there was.
How big was the Coda booth? You
know what? It was swamped the whole time.
Yeah.
The Coda booth.
So this is the Toyota. What the fuck is it?
Oh no! Are you serious?
Dead serious.
Hang on, that rolls in the back of the thing that Mark had.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the U2. That rolls right into the U2.
Yeah,
That's
the egg for the U2.
Yeah, it's the stupidest thing you could ever possibly imagine.
And kind of cool.
Well, it looked kind of cool. Also from Toyota, they had their Back to the Future.
Oh, Mr. Fusion!
Oh,
it literally says Mr.
So
Fusion.
this is literally, it's a Mirai. And
you're kidding me.
A Fusion power Mirai?
So it's a Fusion hydrogen Mirai, and I'm scrolling through the video. They have the funky tire, the illusion. And
this is the custom one that they made for the movie anniversary. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't get the doors, but you can kind of tell that the doors went up.
Right.
But the big thing was they put the Mr. Fusion in the back. Yeah. Just for kicks and giggles.
Yeah.
I mean, how much would you think we could do a Kickstarter to like sell a 3M adhesive Mr. Fusion that anybody could stick on their trunk?
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm thinking we could sell a few thousand of those things.
Yeah.
Let's work on that.
And then let's not forget this thing. I forgot what the hell they called it, an FV2 or a or something. But
the adult trike.
Yeah, the adult trike. You know, it looks fun. As far as I'm concerned, it looks fun to ride in, but yeah, it would not be street legal at all. You could, well, maybe it'd be street legal, but don't expect
3 wheels. It's street legal.
Yeah, don't expect to survive a don't expect to survive a collision. That's for sure. So let's see what else I got. I've got the I got a really cool light show. And I don't know if I think you all will be able to get this. So anyone listening to the audio podcast, this is the Chevy Bolt, and it's not even really about the Bolt. It's the background that Chevy had to the Bolt.
Ooh.
And I don't know if you can hear me on the.
You can drive it to outer space. That's pretty cool.
Wow. That's crazy, man.
It's a huge LCD screen. They were cycling these screens through, and yeah, it was pretty cool.
So yeah, last week you guys talked about Audi having astronauts in their commercials, and now you've got Bolts in space. Which car company CEO is most associated with rockets? I can't think of any.
Yeah. Nissan with the Winter Warrior. So, you know, no.
Those are normal snore tires in Canada.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
In Colorado, yeah.
Yeah, they refuse to answer my questions as to how this impacts your mileage.
No, those are the new low rolling resistance tires.
Low rolling resistance tread.
The answer is that you can get some.
Yeah.
Without them, you can't have any mileage.
Yeah, it's I will say that it was pretty neat to see it on front and back, and it's things we don't think about is for the scientific stuff up in the Arctic and out wherever you actually need treads like these, and it was just kind of neat to see something that you don't normally see. So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, although Winter might be underselling it. I mean, this is really Antarctica Warrior.
Right.
It's not like, oh, it's winter, I need to go get my tracks on my car.
Right.
I actually wonder how practical that is. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if that isn't maybe more concept than.
No, they have stuff like that in Antarctica. I mean,
yeah, but
yeah,
I don't know. I used to ride a lot of snowmobiles, and I just wonder how stable those treads are on those wheel mounts.
Well, you see those type of vehicles on ski hills, that have the big tank treads on both sides.
Right. But it's two big ones that are, I don't know. Okay. Sorry. You know what? That looks awesome.
You don't drink Kool-Aid at all.
No, I'm so.
So I just got one last little thing here that.
Show us, Tony. Show us.
It's absolutely amazing. It was this thing.
Simulator.
The simulator.
Yeah. So you got the people in the big, huge simulator. It's pretty kick-ass.
And what is that a simulator for, Tony?
I don't care.
Was it whose booth was it in?
I don't even know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
They obviously missed out on marketing it properly.
It looks like a racetrack simulator.
Yeah.
They should have their name all over this.
Yeah, you would think. And they probably did at floor level, but nobody was looking at the floor. So, yeah. Oh, and I don't know if you could hear the revving, whatever, but that was the loudest, most annoying thing because it just kept going over and over and over and over. Yeah.
Think about the poor, sad fools working that booth.
Well, the thing is, the people working the booth, I guess, they know what's coming. It's the people around them.
They're lobotomized.
Yeah.
It's the only way you can do it. Otherwise, you go crazy and start killing people about the second city you do that in.
Hyderson
So,
Carnies,
Tony, how long-
they're good.
Tony, how long did it take you to traverse the show, roughly? How many hours?
Well, 6 hours, and I say
Wow.
that because the show, all of the reveals and the the hardened auto press, the traditional press, all that stuff takes place on Thursday at the Chicago Auto Show. Friday is what they call social media day. And the regular show, Thursday, the media day, goes pretty much all day, from like 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. Social media is given so much credit that it's over at 2. So I got there at 8, and they were shutting things down at 2 o'clock. So 6 hours, whether I liked it or not. But I pretty much saw everything I was interested in. I made a list of who has EVs, hybrids, fuel cells, who has all of that stuff, and I made it a point to get to those. And then I got to tell you, by the time I had gotten to all of those things, I was just sort of looking at these, I hate to say it, looking at regular cars and just kind of like, it's just a car,
Hmm.
I don't know if it's just me, but these days, just looking at another car that burns gas and you bended some sheet metal, it just doesn't do anything for me anymore.
Right. I totally get that. Believe me. If there's nothing different about the powertrain, it's like whatever. Haven't we been doing this for a century?
Yeah.
So.
And then they're like, oh, but this has a 12-speed automatic and this and this and okay, whatever.
And it has paddle shifters and a CVT.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I did have an interesting exchange with someone at the Nissan booth, I guess, at the Nissan display.
Was this the fist fight? Because I thought the attorneys were like, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to discuss that.
This is why he was only there for
That may or may
6
not
hours
occur.
and not 8.
Yes, yeah. So, talking to the Nissan guy, and, like I said, Thursday is when all the mainstream media is there, and Friday is just social media. So it's like empty. It's just empty. And you're walking by these displays, and people are just standing there, and you almost feel bad for them. It's like you avert your eyes because, you don't want to make eye contact. And so I went over to the Nissan guy because I knew that, a refresh with the Leaf, batteries and higher range and different stuff. And I just wanted to hear him explain some of this stuff. And I mentioned the Bolt. And he said, yeah, did you hear how much range they're talking about? And I said, yeah, they're saying 200 miles. And he said, let me tell you something. He said, Nissan's been doing this for, several years now. And we have 108. And GM is coming out saying that they're going to start at 200. I just want to see it. So, and it was just the way he said it.
He didn't believe it. Is that what you're saying?
Didn't believe it.
Planting a seed of doubt.
Just didn't believe it for a minute.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they've had the Volt and the Spark, and they know how to. They had their 230 mpge. They know not to make that mistake again. So
Right.
I have to. If they say 200, it's really going to be 200. EPA rated 200, not some fake 200.
And it's not complicated. It's like you want double the range, you put double the size of battery in the car.
Plus
Nissan
a little
could do-
more because of the weight.
Yeah.
Or you take the back seat out.
I've heard from some people that have some connections that maybe even feel they're sandbagging it a little. 200 might even be higher.
Wow,
Really?
Let's hope.
that'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
That would be very interesting. Well, Tony, thank you so much for giving us the scoop on Chicago, dude. We've been to 2 car shows this week.
Hey Tony, what was your favorite pickup truck at the car show?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It was the Dodge Ram. Yeah, that was, yeah. Mhm.
The Ram Dumb. Yeah.
Right, yeah, the Cummins diesel.
Mega Diesel.
Mega X.
Hemi
XS.
Diesel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of those
Jewelry.
down here in
The
Florida.
Rolling Coal Special.
Yes, yes. Yeah, the RCS, I think, is what they were calling it. Yeah.
I was actually behind my first rolling coal truck the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was horrifying. Why does Patrick have me on his screen?
I'm getting my screen share ready.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
sorry,
okay.
Patrick. I didn't mean to blow your surprise there.
I did. Oh,
I
speaking
scared
of,
myself.
it wasn't a truck, but I did take a ride along. Toyota had the RAV4 hybrid.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Those are cool.
Oh man, it is a really nice ride.
They are selling like hotcakes in Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Front-wheel drive RAV4 hybrid. It's got a lot of bells and whistles, and it is a very comfortable ride. Yeah. Wow. Very nice.
So, all of a sudden, do you think maybe Toyota's rethinking the all-wheel drive Prius for America?
Doubt it.
Paul's asked for it
No,
multiple
they're going for the U2.
Yeah, that's right. The
Yeah.
U2.
Right.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Well, let's scoot over to Patrick Connor and see what he has for us this week.
Okay, we're running a little long, so I'll be quick here. So this is something I wrote on my blog at carswithcords.net, and there's a lot of Chevy Bolt versus Tesla Model 3 press out there, and a lot of them are making assumptions, and I didn't want to do that. I was like, okay, we know they're both going to be 200 plus miles. We know they're both going to be in the 30,000 range, and they're both going to have their own proprietary quick charge. I say proprietary because CCS is not that common yet, but it's getting there. And so that's one thing that we do know about them is their charging networks. And as we've discussed on this show, GM is not taking a real active role in promoting CCS. They figure that's refueling, that's someone else's problem. And so I make the case that fast charging does matter. Most of the time, I charge my Leaf in my garage, and that's enough for the next day, and I don't care about fast charging. However, there are occasions where it's really nice that I have that. If you want to drive between cities or whatever, fast charging is the way to go. So as these two are fighting for the future, you get a little insight into how my brain works here. If you can see this picture here of the Griffin versus the Cyclops Centaur from Sinbad, The Golden Voyage of Sinbad. I saw this movie when I was a kid, and there's a line in there where this oracle says, for the deeds of weak and mortal men may tip the scales one way or the other. So assume for a minute, which is not going to be true, that these cars are very similar in price and spec. If they are, and you didn't care about which one you got, you just wanted a 200-plus mile electric car, which one should you get? Well, if the difference is the charging network, a Chevy vehicle is only going to be able to charge at CCS charging stations, whereas the Tesla will be able to charge at Tesla charging stations, and they have, which are free, and they have an adapter to use CHAdeMO stations, which is what we have here on the West Coast Electric Highway. There's CHAdeMO stations all over the place, and they've announced they're coming out with a CCS adapter. So you'll be able to use any of those fast charge networks.
Although I would say it probably won't be free.
Right. The CHAdeMO and CCS are probably not going to be free. Only the Tesla charging stations are likely to be free.
Well, they'll charge on top of the car, the Model 3. There'll be an additional charge, I would believe, right?
That is still yet to be, and even if they did, the other networks are not free. So
yeah.
When Tesla first came out with the Model S, the low-spec model, you had to pay $2,000 extra if you wanted access to the charging network.
Right, yeah.
And the latest announcement I saw said that it will be free for the Model 3, but who knows? That was my point of, there's a whole lot of rumors going around, and maybe they'll charge, maybe they won't. Since most of the others charge, and we don't know what the price will be, let's just call that a wash, and it's really about access when you need it. Assuming it's not a horrible cost, then it's really like I said, I only charge in the 4 years I've had my car. I've fast charged it 25 times, and most of those were just, hey, let's see if this fast charger works. So I've taken trips to the coast. I've taken trips up to Washington where I have used it, and it's really nice to have. And they have, you can pay $20 a month for a subscription in the month you need it and use it there, or you can pay $7 per time to use it, depending on which. There's different networks. They all charge different amounts. So I made this point, and I purposely didn't get into how fast they charge. I instead just, here's the network availability. If you can see this picture, there's what CCS looks like today. And I was trying to find out what they have planned, and I have no idea what it's going to look like by the end of the year or next year, because as far as I know, there's no central body planning it. It's mostly concentrated on the coast, which makes sense because that's where the cars are sold. But what if I want to drive to, I don't know, Montana
Colorado.
or Nebraska or Colorado? Yeah, exactly.
Well, screw you.
Right, but if you go and you look at the Tesla map, they have many more
And
stations.
They kind of follow the interstates.
Right, they thought about
why
getting
why
from
would
A
you
to
do
B.
that?
Yeah, and they have a plan for what they're going to have by the end of the year, where it looks even better.
Mhm.
They have a central body thinking about the whole use case. Not
Wait,
just
wait,
where
what are
devices
those?
get
Why are
used.
they going up into Canada? What's
Who
the
would
point
ever
of
want
that?
to do that?
Because you get 35% more miles if you go
Who in
to
their
Yeah,
right
yeah.
mind is going to take their Tesla into Canada?
You notice
Especially,
you notice they are hugging the border though. They're not going too far in.
good point.
Well,
Wow.
Yeah, so
Although I will say, if the Chevy Bolt and the Tesla Model 3 are similar price, unless the Tesla's a piece of shit, people are going to buy the Tesla just because it's cool and they've got the charging network.
or they'll buy the Bolt because it's at the lot.
I mean, would you rather say to your friends, I drive a Chevy or I got a Tesla? You know?
Right, exactly.
well,
Hold on, let me get back to you on that
if-
one.
I agree. I think that for people who are listening to this show, almost all of them would say Tesla. But there's a whole lot of people that today have never even heard of Tesla, or they like Chevys. They've been buying Chevys their whole life. They have some loyalty to that brand.
Yeah, but
So-
most of those people have been laid off. No, and I mean, that's funny in a way, but see, the argument used to be with Prius that it was a Japanese car.
Right.
And a lot of people want to buy American. Okay, well, listen, when it's American Tesla versus American Chevy, that American thing just melted away. So you're looking at, like, which badge? Is it the bow tie cooler or is the T cooler?
Right.
Well, that's Patrick's point here. Is that if everything's equal, something like a charging infrastructure becomes a big deal and can
Yeah.
become a sphere of people's opinions.
I agree. No, I totally agree.
And you're right. Brand recognition is going to have a huge difference, and they each have their own characteristics. Yeah. The funniest thing about this article, it had nothing to do with fuel cells, and yet because I was talking about DC fast charging, somebody's trolling me in there. And it's actually a pretty interesting discussion about fuel cell vehicles. There's a fuel cell advocate saying fast charging is not the way to go. You only get 1 megawatt hour instead of 10 megawatt hours with fuel cells. So it's if you I got trolled
So
and I
you say to him,
took
you know
the
what?
bait.
Buy your fuel cell car and drive across country. Have fun.
Yeah. Talk about lack of a charging network.
Can,
Yes.
can I just tell you, there's no more sad description of a human being than describing them with the 3 words fuel cell troll.
I did not mean that to sound like as big of an insult as it might sound.
I don't think you meant it insultingly
No,
at
no.
all. But that's really,
But
when
it-
you think about it, like, that's one pathetic human.
But if the shoe fits,
Yeah.
I mean, if you bring it on yourself, especially. Yeah, wow.
He's trying to actually make logical arguments. So it's we disagree, but he's not completely irrational. It's a good discussion. And I
I applaud
go ahead. You can chime in
your-
with him.
your openness to the discussion, Patrick. There was no laugh line there. I meant that. Don't wait for the punchline. I can tell when you guys get
Thank you.
quiet, you're waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah.
Okay, what's he got now?
I did call him a fuel cell troll. Yeah, you're right.
Honestly, I'm just imagining like somebody who's like full-time gig is, I'm gonna get the word out on fuel cells.
Right.
Is his name
yes.
Nathan?
He does mention his company. And he does.
Is his name Mr. Fusion?
I'm not going to out him here. You'll have to go to carswithcords.net and read it yourself.
That is an excellent idea. You should go to carswithoutcords.net and look at Patrick's article, find out who the fuel cell troll is, and let me know, because I need a good laugh. So, Patrick, thank you for that. That was awesome and incredible. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up for this week. Let's do our shout-outs and go home, gentlemen. Oh, wait, we all are home. We do this at our homes.
I'm not home.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, Paul's
Go
not
home.
home. Pity poor
Oh.
Paul, who's still at work and has been at work all day. Although, Paul, you're drinking beer, aren't you?
I had one.
Good to
beer.
be the boss.
You had one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, he's in Colorado. If all he's doing is drinking beer, consider yourself lucky.
That's right.
yeah, good point. It's legal there. That's all I can say. Let's start out with Paul Guzik. Paul, shout-outs this week.
Usual plug to my business, Boulder Hybrids, website boulderhc.com, and we work on hybrid cars and EV cars. So if you're in the Rocky Mountain region and have one of those cars, come and see us.
That's beautiful. boulderhc.com. Go now. Send Paul money.
Whether you need it or not.
Yeah,
Go.
exactly.
We don't work on hydrogen cars though.
No unicorn dealership there? No.
The fuel cell troll's coming for you.
Uh-oh.
Next. I can tell. Patrick.
Hello. I've already given a couple plugs. My blog, carswithcords.net. And shout out to Cub. Good job, you guys. And as always, I am with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org. Thanks.
OEVA.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It doesn't quite work.
But you delivered that. It had me trying to go O-E-V. Yeah, I'm not very good at that. Tony Schaefer, take it away, please. Say it.
I just want to, of course, plug the Facebook page, facebook.com/whatdrives, all one word. Of course, go to whatdrives.us. I have started writing a series of articles about hypermiling, increasing your mileage, and yesterday, I was kind of late. I try to do these on Saturdays, but I was tied up this weekend. It was just yesterday I put out the third one. So go and read the articles, and maybe you'll learn something. If you do, then explain it to me, please.
There you go. Maybe you'll explain something. I just love that specificity.
But,
And speaking of specificity, Mark Coughlin, wrap this up for me, please.
Just a hello to the Waterloo Regional Voltec group. If you want to follow our comings and goings, please go to our Twitter feed, WR Voltec, or our Facebook page. Also wanted to thank the Canadian International Auto Show for allowing us to come in, as well as the Chicago show, I'm sure. And we appreciate it. And the show in Toronto runs until this Saturday. So if you haven't gone there yet and you're in the area, feel free to run down and check out the cars.
Awesome. Well, look at that. Mark's got a little thing there. Let's. There we
The
go.
Auto Show
oh,
magazine.
I don't need to see Mark's little thing.
Oh, there you go. Very nice, very nice. Well, thank you, Mark.
If you're just listening to the show instead of watching it, we will put a bunch of Mark's photos up on our Facebook page.
Ah.
Check them out there.
And some of Tony's.
Yeah, and some of mine as well.
If we have to.
I want to
brought it up.
I want to thank the Chicago Auto Show for getting Tony Schaefer in there, and the Toronto, or I guess it's the Canadian International Auto Show in Toronto, for allowing Mark Coughlin to cover. We appreciate you guys supporting the show, and we're glad to talk about what you guys are doing here. So, and thanks to Mark and Tony for doing all the hard work, because I didn't have to do anything.
Wait a minute. That was your plan all along.
And I don't pay them.
What?
What?
I'm not
You
getting
don't
a
get
check
paid?
this week.
They work for free. So I need to throw out a plug for my my compatriot who is out golfing this week, as I said earlier. If you have a Prius and you need accessories, there's one place to go. That's the Prius Chat Shop. Go to priuschat.com/shop for all your Prius accessory needs. Please, please, please do it. His children need clothing. Okay? Visit us at whatdrives.us to download or stream the show. You can, of course, maybe even get links. If you visit the Facebook page, you're going to get to see some pictures from Mark and from Tony from their respective auto show trips this week. Thanks, as always, to Michael Manring. Visit him at manthing.com. We thank him for the theme music. Gentlemen, anything else? No. On that note, that I'm going to say, download us next week and find out what drives us. Really? There we go. Theme music.
Hi-fi.
Right. Good night, everybody. See you next week.